This is Colin O'Keefe here for LXBN TV. Are employers mandated to allow employees to telecommute under the Americans with Disabilities Act? For a brief time, that seemed to be the case, but not anymore. Joining me to discuss a key Sixth Circuit ruling is attorney Robin Shea. She's with Constangy and author on the excellent blog, The Employment and Labor Insider. Robin, we discussed this once before, but for those who don't know, can you explain the background of the case here and then why the court ruled the way that it did?
Yeah, Ford had an employee who had a very severe case of irritable bowel syndrome, and it was so bad she never knew when she was going to have an accident. And she was in a job that, unfortunately for her, required a lot of face time and travel, and didn't lend itself very well to being performed from home. And even the computer aspects of the job didn't work, apparently, remotely. You had to actually be on site at Ford for them to work. And so Ford did work with her and tried to accommodate her numerous times over the years, and it just didn't work out for that job, and they offered to put her in a different job, and she didn't want to consider that. And so she ended up being terminated and went to the EEOC, and the EEOC actually filed suit against Ford on her behalf. Ford won initially, then lost, and I think that was when you and I talked last, to a 3-panel judge of the Sixth Circuit, and then Ford asked for the full Sixth Circuit to hear the case, and that was 15 judges, and the 15-judge court ruled in favor of Ford.
I see. And then second, what are the implications for employers and employees going forward? You know, what should each party be, I guess, worried about or be aware of now?
From a telecommuting standpoint, I think the decision made perfect sense and really does not mean that you can't consider telecommuting as a reasonable accommodation. I think what they said was that in this particular job, she could not meet the requirements of the job with or without telecommuting, and therefore she wasn't a qualified individual with a disability, and Ford did not owe her anything under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And they also had a couple of other good points for employers, saying that employers normally are the ones who get to decide what the essential functions of the job are, which was great news, and also that attendance is an essential function of most jobs. But even that part doesn't really mean that you couldn't meet your job's attendance requirements by telecommuting if it was the right type of job.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, telecommuting is it's very popular nowadays, but, you know, in most situations, it's not going to get to the point where you're getting it up to, you know, a federal appellate circuit to have to decide whether you're allowed to telecommute or not. And I assume, you know, these companies I assume set their own policies and just make sure that there are clear and consistent policies with these type of things. Once again, that was Robin Shea of Constangy. For more of her insight on this specific case and other issues in the employment sphere, really visit her publication. One of the very best out there is the employmentandlaborinsider.com. Thanks, as always, for joining me, Robin.
Thank you, Colin, and I appreciate the plug, as always.